until Saturday night, I get to take my bath tonight. Huh? Saturday night, I get to take my bath tonight.
Hey, I remember taking a bath once a week.
Yeah.
Okay. And I remember one time.
Come on in. Welcome.
Hello.
Have a look around if you have any questions. Here with his wife and 5 children, all under the age of 11. This house was considered all kitchen during the day and all bedroom at night. So at night they would bring the chairs and hang them on the walls, scoot the tables out of the way so that they could roll beds out. And then in the morning they would roll the beds away, bring all the furniture back out to cook and clean and whatever else needed done that day.
Oh shit. Actually true.
Hi everybody. This is the Henry Onstadt Cooper shop. So if Cooper does barrels, bucket, wash basin, butter churns, or whatnot. This is the only original building in New Salem. It was built here in 1834 by Henry Onstadt. It was later moved to Petersburg in the 1920s. It was moved back. So only original building, only building Lincoln's actually been.
He's making like 1,000 of them in 8 hours. That's working by hand, not power hammer, it's by hand. You learn to move metal real quick when you gotta do that.
We'll get a turn in a second.
Pretty soon you have to start holding out a pair of tongs, it's getting short. I want to cut clear through on that cut. And you guys kind of.
Welcome, welcome.
Hello.
Massive knot in my yarn here. Welcome to the Johnston house, everybody. Robert Johnston, his wife, and I think 3 to 4 children lived here. So a little crowded, but not maybe as much as some of the other places, right? He is the wheelwright and cabinet maker in town. He makes some furniture, but mostly he's going to be repairing wagon wheels and spinning wheels. The mills, anything they have that's a wheel of any kind, he's going to be repairing too. So busy. He did make this cabinet that's behind me.
Oh.
So I think it's kind of impressive. I put that in my house. But he had a really rough commute to work every day. He had to go right out the back door there. And you kind of can see his workshop back there, some of his tools and things. They probably would have done a lot of their work outside as much as they could have, but even in the winter. But in the winter, they probably would have brought it in, but anything that they could do out there, especially with like the wood lathes are kind of big, so. You can go over here and kind of check that out too. Thank you. Thanks for coming in. How big was his family? It was 5 to 6 people living here. So not an all-time high in New Salem. There are some of the families have a lot more than that.
Stovepipe hats that Abraham Lincoln wore. He did not buy his hat here. When he lived here, he was considered not a very good catch. Because he had no family here. He didn't own any property. He had 2 stores go bankrupt. He was nice to everybody. He just was not a very good businessman. And it's when mamas were looking for their daughters, that was he didn't have one. Niceness didn't count. So he would have gotten his hat in Springfield, but it's the same process.
Oh, okay. What are they?
He would get the pigskins, but he would make the shoes for the farmer, but he would get to keep some of the pigskin to make shoes to sell.
It all worked, didn't it?
Yeah, they didn't have a lot of money, and they tried to produce a lot of what they needed.
Well, that was good, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi. This is Martin and Rebecca Waddell's Lock House. He's the local hatter in the village. He made hats out of felted wool and also out of skins. So there's some skins here on the bed. There's a bowl of wool there. It's been washed. You can feel the wool. If you want to come put your hand in the wool, you can. And then in the middle is carded wool, and on the end there's some felt pieces and a felted hat. So they use wool to make fiber. Once it's carded, which is this hand carders.
Oh, it's okay.
Thank you. You have to make the fibers go straight and get all the bumps out of it, the lumps, and then I can spin it. Or I can felt it.
Nice.
But it has to be carded first. I can't do anything with that until it's carded.
Oh yeah, play Capri. Yeah, I take the Dokan. Can you look
Tonight. Every one of these buildings, when you walk out of this building and look at, it's on its original foundation. That means with these lights on, and you walk out of this building, that is exactly what Abraham Lincoln would have seen at night, because every one of these buildings is exactly what it's supposed to be. So you are literally walking in the footsteps of Abraham Lincoln, which I think is really, really cool. But we're not talking about Mr. Lincoln right now. We're talking about medicine. Keep filing in, guys. All right, my first question to you is this. How do you get to be a doctor today?
Go to medical school?
Go to medical school for a long time. I graduated when I was 29, okay? How do you get to be a doctor in Mr. Lincoln's day?
Hang on a shingle.
You know, it's
Call yourself
sad.
doctor.
You're closer than you think. Absolutely right. You find a sign painter that puts your name on it, and you have enough guts to write the word doctor in front of it, and you're in business. There is no licensing in Illinois for physicians until 1853. This is 1830. So he's right. If you had enough guts to do it, you're in. We have two real MDs here. Both are trained in modern medicine, Dr. Allen and Dr. Rainier. They are very, very good. If you have a broken bone, they will set it for you and it will heal. If you need stitches, they're very, very good. They'll stitch you up. If you're having a baby and you're having a difficult time with it, they will help you deliver. So they're very good at that. They're also very good at, well, they're not good at anything, all right? The rest of it is an absolute disaster. And why is that, Natalie?
Because Julius Caesar and Abraham Lincoln expected the same medical treatment. They thought it was fluid imbalance. They thought it was sputum, blood, yellow bile, and black bile that were imbalanced, so that's why you were sick.
And I mean anything. Medicine has not progressed in 3,000 years. Think about the last time you saw the doctor in 2024. How close do you think what he's doing is going to be what the guy in 4024 is doing? I've seen Bone on Star Trek. They have all those little gizmos and gadgets. We're nowhere near it. But medicine has not progressed. Caesar and Lincoln think they're getting the same treatment. It is all based on fluid imbalance. No matter what your symptoms, headache, fluid imbalance, chest pain, fluid imbalance, tummy ache, fluid imbalance, can't sleep, fluid imbalance, sleep too much, fluid imbalance. The dean at a medical school in Boston in 1793 told his freshman class, fluid imbalance is the only diagnosis you'll ever need to make your entire life. As bizarre as that sounds, how they treat you is even worse. They're going to rebalance the fluids by taking fluid out of you. So what's the fastest way for me to get fluid out of you? I'm going to cut you, right? And don't think leeches, guys, way too slow. I'm going to cut you and I'm going to run your blood into a cup. Now, when am I going to stop? When you pass out. Ladies, maybe a cup, guys, maybe a cup and a half, too. What if mom takes you home tomorrow? If his mom took care of you till he came to the doctor. What if you come back tomorrow? Are you still sick? I'm going to cut you again. What did President Washington die from? President Washington had a strep throat that was probably going to a peritonsillar abscess. And this abscess was pushing on his throat so he couldn't bleed. Well, that ain't what killed him. They bled him 4 days in a row. He died on the 4th day of acute blood loss brought on by his physicians. So let's forget about bleeding. Dumb idea. Dumb idea. Now, I know what you're thinking. I probably have a vast herd of secret Native American herbal cures that have long been lost to modern science. And those are the medicines I'm going to use to make you better. And now, your problem is fluid imbalance, so the medications I use are going to rebalance those fluids. I have two main groups. When I tell you the name of the first group, you're going to guess the name of the second. The first group of medications are called pukes. I'm going to get fluid out of you this way. Yeah, somebody just guessed it over here. The second group of medication is called poops. I'm going to get fluid out of the other end. So if you're sick and you come to see Dr. Allen or Dr. Ramir, they're going to bleed you and poop you and puke you to good health. Now, how often is that going to work? Never. That's why we call this heroic medicine, because you had to be a hero to survive it. You got well in spite of the doctors rather than because of the doctors. All right? Now, there is hope on the horizon. Natalie?
Because in 1847, they discovered anesthesia, and then in 1870, they decided to start washing their hands and start cleaning their tools before they cut you. And then in 1880, they discovered bacteria.
But that's 50 years from now, guys. So you come back in this office tomorrow morning and you're sick. You know what's going to happen. You're going to get bled and pooped and puked to good health. The take-home message.
Unevenly. You wanted to keep them worn as evenly as possible so you could get the most wear out of them. You would have enjoyed wearing a pair of Mama's wool socks with those shoes. Now, right and left shoes came to be after the Civil War. You're going to notice in a lot of these buildings, chairs hanging on the wall. It's a space-saving measure. Also, the tables have drop leaves, again, a space-saving measure. These houses are all kitchen by day and bedroom by night.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming to visit.
Hey, you wouldn't have to worry about it. You got your left shoe on the right foot.
A lot of people are carrying their vehicles around. It takes them about 15, 20 minutes.
Really something that they would necessarily have up. We use it here because on days when we don't have people in the houses, we can leave the big door open and close that, and then people can still look in and see what's what. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they. What's that?
That is a roaster. You can, you see, yes, like a chicken or a small turkey or something. You can see there's a pointy thing that sticks out of it. Basically, that you would skewer that through whatever you were roasting, and you would put it in there. Then you would set that whole thing in front of the fire, and you could turn it, and it would just, like a rotisserie kind of thing.
I can start heading up in the other direction. It's really cool. Yeah. Have a good night. Thank you.
You too.
Good night.
Thanks for visiting.
Regional top hat.
Wow. Which house is this one?
This is John Allen's house. He was the doctor, one of the two doctors in town.
Okay.
So he was a medically trained doctor. He was from Vermont, and he was trained at Dartmouth before he came out to the prairie. So at the time, there was not any licensing for physicians, so you could call yourself a healer, a shingo and go. New Salem was very fortunate to have two actual trained doctors. In this office, in Holman office, we talk about his tools over there. The forceps to the very right of that case were designed by him. If you look very closely, there are teeth. They were made by the blacksmith, and here in town. So he felt like those helped him in his surgery have more traction. So he used the tools. He had a larger garden in the back of his home, and he would make his own pills. He was also the dentist. He had his office on the other side of the
Hello, hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great. Enjoy your rest of your